Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. We all do. I thought about coming earlier and taking some of the chairs away so it would be standing room only. I didn't have time. And right? Standing applause. Okay. This is, the first poem is the result of my childhood muse regarding a parochial schooling experience. It's called Mess Hall, St. Bernard School. Wafting up the stairwell from our basement cafeteria, oozing under classroom doors like some noxious fog in a horror film. Those dreaded fumes announce the day's lunch. Sauerkraut. The noon bell, the long gray line, the single file descent down and down into that building's reeking bowels, abandoning hope on the way. I'm practicing lines like, "Thank you, that's plenty." Praying the hair-netted counter-help will mercifully waive my share. But I know too well, my timid pleas will be ignored. No, I'll wince and gnash my teeth as the lady with waddle under her arms loads up her ladle with great steaming gobs and shovels it down on my plate. The iron-fisted commandant of hell's 8th ring is Sister Mary Flavia. Wider than a dumpster, she oversees her mess hall infallibly, overrules recess if we don't choke down every shred. I gulp what I can till I start to gag, thumb the rest down a milk carton neck, fluffing my napkin as a decoy distraction in case she checks. And check she does, nosing through dregs like a big boned hound. Lord have mercy, she's found my stash. You eat it or no exit. Slouching back to my seat, I wait till she gnaws at some other poor wretch, then muck it into my socks, stuff it down into pockets, slather it under my shirt, cursing for keeps her sauerkraut soul. This is the speaker of this poem is addressing his mother. It's a two-part poem entitled Once Again to Liston Varna. Part 1. You love to work in the yard, pruning the rhododendron, removing spent bulbs, and sharing with neighbors histories of shrubs whose roots were so entwined with your own, it was hard to distinguish the two. Touching a sprig of quince, you'd speak of its great migration from a field behind your father's home in Trumansburg, New York, of his rude uprooting from County Roscommon, then back to the quince in the year you were wed. I helped you chop the elm arched above the drive, a wand of summer shade, gone brittle and combed with blight. You spoke of girlhood memories, the let's pretend of an only child pushing an empty swing. A late September sun warmed the trampled lawn, and I counted thumps of my axe, and thought of the fire inside the wood, how it escapes through motion and friction. You clip the smaller branches. It never seems as hard, you said, when there are two. Part 2. Christmas over, I'd packed the trunk gone inside to say a goodbye and found you at the table, smoothing out a map, a souvenir of country roads traveled long ago, tracing the lines as if they were braille. You took me in your memory once again to Lisdoon, Barna, Connemara, Kilkee. I had to be off before it snowed. Small steps walked me to the car. Dwarfed by the spruce Dad planted in the 40s, you hunched your back against the wind, and that was the last I'd see you, except for times when the morning light spills headlong into its own reflection, and shrubs behind the house begin to blaze. Then you drift to the center of my rearview mirror, one arm at your side, the other shoulder high, waving. And the last poem is called The Silent Ones. The epigraph is from Rilke, Could We Exist Without Them? I love the ones who have gone, and the way they are here with me, lending a hand at the wheel, watching the road when I sleep. How do I pay them back? I love the silence they keep, like breath one never hears, like the silence of bark and its sweet underside, and their sense of humor, the laughter that swirls just out of reach, like wind above the cathedral, and their easy trust, forgiving me over and over, remembering how it was. I love the times to come when together we'll laugh and one says, remember that night you grabbed for the branch and it held? That was me.